Jack Elliott and Jakob Glesnes have been staples of this team, and they're not playing great. Listen, Jakob, in my opinion, has been a step slow. And I hate to say this, but I watched a lot closer against Seattle. I was watching him off the ball and where he was going and how he was moving. And he's getting caught a little bit out of position. And I wonder how much from his hernia surgery last year and missing the end of the season and this year, he is older also. He's one of the 30-plus crew. You know, I wonder how much maybe he's dropping off a beat.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And listen, Ali is doing well because they're not relying on him for a lot of minutes. So he gets to start sometimes, he's off the bench sometimes. His minutes have fluctuated. Jakob Glesnes and Jack Elliott have played a lot of big minutes over the years, and they're still expected to play a lot of big minutes. But Glesnes is not looking the same. Yeah. And I think that the last few games, especially, I've noticed goals, and I'm not saying they're directly just his fault because, like I always say, you got to get through all 11 to score. But it's plays where he's fully out of position. He's not marking up. The first goal, he's on nobody. You know, the second goal, I can't remember exactly off the top of my head where he was. But there's been many goals I've seen now that I've been paying attention to where he's out of position, he's not on someone, he's facing the wrong way, his shoulder, he's not ready. You know, as a center back, there's basic things that you always have to make sure you're doing. Getting your shoulders square upfield, getting your hips behind the ball, your clearances, your marking, you're getting organized. He's one of the best guys in the air for them. But he hasn't been himself. Yeah. So I don't know if he's maybe also hurt in a way that maybe he's not saying, or his fitness isn't where it's supposed to be, or maybe he's just aging, because that happens to all of us. But he is one that I feel like with all the changes in the back line, Kai and Nate have been steady. Oliver Zemla, the goals, I don't really feel like are his fault. And I do feel like the center back issue has been the biggest issue defensively as to why the whole team isn't great. On top of the midfield is not always matching up. Right. Like, it's a team effort to defend. It's not just the back four. It's not just the goalie. And unfortunately, you look at these goals this past weekend, yet again a chance where the middies are not matched up, goal side, touch tight. You've got late runners into the box that are able to finish. You've got a ball in transition. Now that one's that's bad organization in transition. But these are things that, like, your center mids, your center backs have to be the ones that help to clean up. Transition goals and any late runners, anything in the box in general, off of services, you guys got to be matched up. And the Union defensively aren't doing that. I know Jim mentioned it. They've been talking about it a lot, but it's not sinking in. And we saw that again today, which is how this weekend, which is how they ended up down 2-0.
Yeah, no. Like, I think it's important to talk about the defense, but give me, off the top of your head, when was the last time they had a clean sheet?
They have one. Andre Blake had one. His first game back from injury after they lost to Pachuca. Who did they beat? It wasn't. Who was that early win? They won 1-0. Am I right?
There wasn't a 1-0 game, but you're close. You're very close.
It was Andre's return back. Okay. They finally got a clean sheet. It's near the Pachuca 6-0 loss. It was like the next MLS game.
The third game after that.
Oh my gosh, I can't remember. Shucks. It wasn't. Who did they beat 1-0? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. Who is it?
It was Minnesota, March 30th. It was 2-0 at home.
Hot diggity dog.
And like, the thing is that, like, you know, shutouts, clean sheets are so hard to do, right? But years prior, they had, you know, quite a few of clean sheets. And that was because of strong defense as a team. Obviously, when you have the best goalkeeper in the MLS, that really does help you. Now, watching this defense over the past couple of weeks, there's a couple of different things I see. Now, let's start off with your point. Glesnes, yes. He's been a step off. And I had this conversation with one of our producers, Andrew, before the show. And you know, he's ready to move on from Glesnes, and I'm just like, you know, hold your horses just a little bit. Watching the game, I mean, on both goals, you talk about the first one. I don't know where he was, to be quite honest with you.
He was on like the near post, very out of position.
And the thing is that
post. He was on one of the posts.
Yeah, and the thing is that on that first goal, Dejomie should not have had that much space to roam in. Like, that's just clearly unacceptable to happen. And you know, you get across from Jared Stroud. Jared Stroud had a big game off that wing, 2 big assists. Jared Stroud gets that ball in a perfect spot for Dejomie, and he nails it in. Now, granted, I do believe Andre would have saved that, but that's not what we're talking about.
Right.
You're not going to always have Andre Blake. You cannot always rely on that skill of Andre Blake. You need to play better defensively. On the second one, That is all on Jakob Glesnes. Because the fact is, he looked like Tobias Harris trying to defend out there. Like, he was looking right at Muriel. Like, what? He didn't even, like, put a foot out. He just looked right at his eyes. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do there. And Muriel just got a great shot, credit to him. And then it's 2-0. And right then and there, Renee, you put yourself in a hole. Like, we shouldn't have to constantly keep coming back. That's just unacceptable. The thing is that Union Soccer, when they are good, they start off quick. They get that lead, and the beauty of it is they always know how to hold that lead. It's very rare when they blow a lead. But another point, too, that while watching this game, Renee, in that first half, Union Soccer, it's intense soccer. You play with high intensity for 90 minutes. They have not done that. In that first half, I did not see that intensity. That's why they put 2 goals up. And another point, too, is like, we always make the joke, like, they don't possess the ball a lot, right? The Union they don't like to have the ball at their feet. And it is what it is. But at some points, Renee, you need to have the ball at your feet.
Correct.
And especially like DC was doing a good job in that transition. They were running through that Union transition defense, and in a split of a second, they're on the other side trying to create a chance there. So to me, it's not just about that back line, Renee. It's about the whole entire team, and it's about that attack. Not only keeping the possession of the ball, but playing intense and getting and creating those turnovers with that high press. We haven't been able to see a lot of these different things. And I know we're killing our back line, but to me, it's a team problem.
Yes,
like, there's different things that you can do to help your team defense. And especially when you have a young kid like Zemla, and let's be real, guys, probably have to rely on Zemla for a couple matches with Andre's injury. So things do need to get cleaned up. I am not ready to hit the panic button, but there are things that we can absolutely do that are feasible to not put yourself in a 2-0 hole before half. Or I guess it was 2-1, but still, you guys get the point. You cannot be trailing every single match. You got to play a full 90. That second half was obviously much better, but that has to be the thing through 90 minutes. That's just something Jim's been talking about in his pressers.
Yeah, from start to finish, you just have to play better and just be more proactive, playing on the front foot. Most importantly, you want to protect your young keeper. You want to protect your team.